Good evening. You're watching Nation at 5 here on CNN News 18 with me, Ridhima Bhatnagar. We begin with a CNN News 18 exclusive. The propaganda of the Popular Front of India, or the PFI, is exposed once again. In its recent charge sheet against 5 members of the Popular Front of India, the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorism Squad, or the ATS, has claimed that the group was working towards bringing Islamic rule to India. CNN News 18 has accessed exclusive PFI documents from the Maharashtra Anti-Terror Squad charge sheet. The ATS has claimed that PFI had an internal document with an aim to establish Islamic country by 2047, and there was a 4-stage program to make India an Islamic state. The documents further reveals that the group aimed at disrupting Hindu organizations such as the RSS. So what was the larger plan at play, and what were these various stages that they wanted to achieve to make India an Islamic state by 2047? Let's break down all those details. The first revelation as part of this charge sheet is disrupt Hindu organizations such as the RSS. They wanted to mobilize the Muslim youth and tell them that their own demands and wants are under threat. Second, as part of the charge sheet again, disintegrate the police and the judiciary. Here what the PFI wanted again as part of the charge sheet is they wanted more members of theirs to be elected to be part of the police and judiciary as well. Revelation 3, seek funds from Islamic nations to create havoc. They wanted to indulge in incidents of violence after these funds had been achieved. The other revelation as part of the charge sheet is get backward caste support, enter the judiciary and the police ranks. This is exactly what I pointed out. They wanted to mobilize the cadre as part of their 4-stage plan to make India an Islamic state by 2047. Let's listen in to some reactions before we bring in our guests.
इंफॉर्मेशन मेरे पास है इसके बारे में चार्जशीट में जरूर ये कहा गया है कि PFI ने एक ऐसा एक प्रोग्राम तैयार किया कि उसके साथ कुछ सालों बाद पूरा हिंदुस्तान एक इस्लामिक राष्ट्र को ऐसा उनका प्लान है। वो बहुत अलग अलग जाति के दोनों के लोग भारत देश में रहते हैं, अच्छे से रहते हैं। तो ऐसी अगर किसी की भी इच्छा हो या किसी का भी प्लान हो तो वो सक्सेस नहीं हो जाएगा।
Let's also now bring in our guests. We have former IPS Nirmal Kaur, who's already joining us on the broadcast. We also have senior editor of Swaraj magazine, Tushar Gupta, joining us on the broadcast. We'll shortly also be joined by Ahmed Ayaz, ex-secretary of the JKMPLB. Good to have both of you on the broadcast with us. Tushar, let me begin the conversation with you. An organization like the PFI, yes, it's already gotten a ban on it. But before the ban, every time you spoke to any representative or any person affiliated with the PFI, they said that there is a vicious agenda against us. We're being targeted for no reason. We're a non-profit organization. An outfit which says that we work like a non-profit organization, when dossiers are recovered, why will they have documents which show various stages of wanting to convert India into an Islamic state?
Ridhima, I won't like to mince my words here. PFI is like Hydra. Cut one head and 2 more shall take its place. Look at the agenda they are running to turn the country, a secular country, a democratic country, into an Islamic nation by 2047. And one of the statements mentioned in the charge sheet also say that their objective is to undo the rule, the Islamic rule that was taken away by the British Raj. So look at the motivation, where it's coming from. They want to go back to the days of the Mughal rule, of the Sultanate rule, when Hindus were reduced to third-class citizens. Their temples were burned down. They were slaughtered in the open. That's the objective of the PFI. And the attacks on the RSS, the political attacks, the social attacks, now they start making sense. Because RSS, for the longest period of time, even with all the services it has gone for the general public, it is branded as an upper-class Hindu organization when it is not. And there is a clear attempt to drive a wedge between Hindu communities. That is why you have political parties asking for caste census and whatnot. Now, the question, Ridhima, is we know the objectives of the PFI quite clearly. The government knows them quite clearly. Who are these frontal organizations? Who are the pawns of the PFI who are propagating their agenda in the garb of secularism, freedom of expression and speech? Because for the longest time, PFI was all about we fighting the anti-minority stance of the government. We are fighting the Hindu nationalist government. but this is the clear objective, to turn the country from the constitution towards Sharia law.
Yeah, and look how they're going. Look at the various stages. And Hema Dayas, this is where I want to bring you in. I agree with the point that Tushar is making. All these attacks against the RSS now make sense. They want to mobilize the youth. They want to tell them that you're under threat, so you need to work towards becoming this Islamic State by 2047. And how are they achieving it? They want the Muslim youth to identify themselves as Muslims and not Indians. Does it not become a threat to national security then?
So I do think the happening or what is the country on spirit so it's the fear of
Ahmed Ayaz, we seem to be having a bit of an issue with your audio. We'll just try and re-establish that. But Nirmal Kaur, ma'am, let me take that same question to you. Look at the various stages that they're working towards so that India can become an Islamic state by 2047. The chart sheet says the entire process of how they wanted to achieve this was by mobilizing the Muslim youth. There were clear indications and directions that were given to the Muslim youth that you identify yourself as Muslims first and then Indians. Doesn't all of this become a real threat as far as national security is concerned?
Yes, it is a very, very real threat, and this is a very multi-pronged kind of an attack, not once. This is a multiple.
We can hear you, ma'am. We can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, what I'm saying is there's a very, very real threat, they are using democracy to whittle democracy. All these demographic changes, they are in aid. It's a multi-pronged strategy. It's not only that you radicalize the Muslims and turn them against the Hindus and make two different things, Hindus and Muslims, and they also increasing the Muslim population. Their plan 2047 is very well planned strategy, which is very real. As Kashiram said, jiski jitni sankhya bhari, uski utni hissedari. So they are, first of all, they are increasing their population by breeding, by increasing the population, by increasing immigration. You see how the districts have changed in their demographic thing. Not only the border districts, all along the Himalayas, the districts in Uttarakhand, the districts in many, they want to establish also a corridor, right from Nepal to, and they are doing on the eastern front also on the Bangladesh border, if you see. They are making a total eastern corridors. How many districts have now population, especially when you see that they vote en bloc? Even 30% or 40% of population is enough to turn the scales in their favor. And 2047 is I think that must be their outer deadline because their demographic changes are happening so fast, and they have also this, all these laid out plans that you turn Muslims against issues, create issues where there are none, very detailed kind of, points they've made. And then they say that RSS is the bad boy. RSS is, they're blaming RSS just to deflect attention away from themselves. They are doing the things, they're blaming RSS, accusing RSS of the same things which they are doing, they have planned.
Ahmed Ayaz is also back with us. I agree with the points that you're making, ma'am. Ahmed Ayaz, help me understand, and this is something that I started the show with as well. An outfit that says we work like a non-profit organization, when dossiers are recovered, when a chart sheet is accessed by us here at CNN News 18, why are we seeing documents that show that there was a clear plan in place to convert India, or at least to achieve that state where India can be made into an Islamic state? They wanted to mobilize more youth. The message that they wanted to send out to the youth is that you're under threat today, and thus you need to unite together to make this outfit really, really powerful. Also, they wanted more youth to be appointed as far as the police and the judiciary is concerned, and then the same police and judiciary were on their target as well.
I don't think so. Even if whatever reports are there, those are said to be true. I don't think that there is a situation where the India can be turned as an Islamic state. The question does not arise because this is the majority of the people. You will find that they have by and large established on secular lines, and to change their mindset, I don't think that's possible because we see that there is hardly anything as such which can work. And also, this is first time or second time we have been hearing through TV channels or the news channels that such a thing is coming up. had there been anything such happening, possibly it would have been known to all over. But
No,
I'm
but
telling you,
are we all
I'm
unaware
not
as far
aware about
as
it.
the narrative and the propaganda of the PFI is concerned? Let's go back 6 months in time, pick up any event which had polarization, you had the stamp of PFI on it. So, Tushar, what I'm essentially trying to understand is for how long can we live in denial? And the larger issue today is that there is already a ban on this outfit, but what about others who can still regroup and maybe have another name on them? But the idea and the narrative will still be the same.
Exactly, Ridhima. That's why I called it like Hydra. And it's very easy to whitewash the crimes of PFI, but there are in every protest, be it CAA, be it the hijab protests in Karnataka. What about the arms training camp they were directly linked with? What about the kidnappings and ransom cases that are against them? What about the kind of narrative they have been peddling through online literature? Ridhima, the worry with PFI is that even if the organization is banned, there will be a thriving underground network that will try to carry out lone wolf terror attacks. That is going to be one of their essential strategies, where they have someone online radicalized, carrying out a bomb attack or something on those lines, just to come out and make a statement that, look, we are fighting against the anti-minority stance of the government, which they only assume. So what we are looking against today is a very difficult organization that works in the shadows, that doesn't care if it's banned or not, that has a lot of people on its payroll. But the bigger worry is there are a lot of political parties in this country, a lot of influencers, a lot of media personalities that unknowingly, I stress on this, peddle the agenda of the PFI without realizing the dangers of it.
Nirmal Kaur, I want to bring you back in the conversation. 1 second, Ahmed Ayaz, I'll just come back to you. Ma'am, how do you tackle a menace like this? The point that Tushar is making is something that a lot of agencies are worried with as well. That yes, you have a ban as far as PFI is concerned, but what about its larger network at play, which is still silently working as far as radicalization is concerned?
We have to worry not only about their underground network, but also about their cadres that have infiltrated the civic institutions. Be it the government services, be it the judiciary, be it anything, you have to worry about that, and you have to get your intelligence really strong and attack on them, and at the same time keep good efforts at national integration, at uniting Hindus and Muslims. And there's a universal equal application of laws which is taking place, but for a change now that Muslims have to face the same law. They are not liking it because they're used to preferential treatment. They want they are opposing the Uniform Civil Code, any other laws. They don't want to be bound by the Indian law, but they want all the facilities of living in India. They want all the rights which are guaranteed to us under the Constitution, but they don't want any of the laws to apply to them, which is very selective. And also we have to also worry. Another thing, if you see, is I live in Jharkhand. I have seen it at least a lot in Jharkhand. There's this aspirational, the supremacy of the, lots of people have displayed on their homes that flag of Ottoman Empire. There's this so fictionalized kind of account of Ottoman Empire, Sultanate Osmania, what is it called? Artugrul. The people are watching a lot of it on the YouTube, especially these youngsters, and they are displaying these flags in series on top of their houses. In fact, one man on whose roof I saw it, I also took a picture, is one person's house. They are on many houses, but one person whose house I took it, and I took also a photo in my mobile. He's an ASI in police in Jharkhand. So if this is what the civic institutions are being infiltrated, or the civic people are being brainwashed, it's going to be very difficult to deal with PFI. So we have to be ever alert, gather our intelligence, crack on them, and also kind of counter-radicalize. I don't know how we can counter-radicalize given the kind of impetus and force and momentum they have, but we'll have to work on counter-radicalizing, and we'll have to tell the youth, be it Hindu or Muslim, that this is our country, we are Indians first, and whatever our religion could be is somewhere very behind,
Right. Ahmed Ayaz, you wanted to come in, make your point before I bring in Tushar as well. Ahmed Ayaz.
Of course, believing the reports to be true, but it is not that easy to mobilize the entire, Muslim community, to turn India as a Muslim state. You see, it's not possible at all. So maybe there are some people trying for whatever interest they have, but to say that some people are trying and they may be in a position to do it, humanly impossible, and sitting here, I can tell you, it is never possible and it can never happen. They may, I don't know, they have their interests, what are their interests, how are they going to do it, but it is never possible, it cannot happen, and it will never happen, I can tell you. and whatever people are doing it, they may have their own. We don't know what are their interests or what are they doing about. So far as Tushar is concerned, it is not that the Tushar can see and we don't see. When Tushar can see, I definitely would have seen it the first man being a member from the Muslim community. But when I don't see anything such happening, how does Tushar say that this is happening here and there and there?
But sir, Tushar is also quoting all the evidences that have already been put out in the public domain. We've also put them out multiple times. As far as the hijab row is concerned, as far as stone pelting is concerned, as far as beheadings are concerned, the PFI had its stamp all over it, and that's why I'm finding it very difficult to understand that how can the outfit still continue to defend itself, saying we have nothing to do with any of this. And Tushar, this is where it becomes problematic. Either we believe the charge sheet and we find ways to tackle this menace, or like people like Ahmed Ayaz, we can continue to be in denial.
Riddhima, exactly, that is the problem. Someone tries to highlight the problem.
One second, Ahmed Ayaz, let Tushar respond.
This is the problem. When someone tries to highlight the realities of PFI, they're brandished as BJP supporters or Delhi media. But in 2012, before the Noida media came into this kind of an existence, or before Modi came onto the political scene, the Kerala government, which is not made up of BJP, by the way, submitted to the Kerala High Court at that time. The PFI was involved in 27 murder cases, and most of them were members of the RSS. In 2014, again, the Kerala government submitted to the Kerala High Court that there were more than 100 cases of communal violence registered against PFI. This was before Modi. This was before, any of us became journalists. So how can you say that this is something of a figment of our imagination? It's pretty much there for the last 10, 15, 20 years. But the problem is people are not willing to acknowledge the kind of political menace that exists between us today.
Unfortunately, I'll have to leave that conversation there. We'll, of course, keep tracking those developments very, very closely. I'd like to thank all our guests, Nirmal Kaur, Tushar, as well as Ahmed Ayaz. Let's shift our focus to the other big story that we're tracking. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the upper house of parliament and trained his guns at the opposition parties. The Prime Minister said that it's one versus all. The Prime Minister sharpened his attack further and said that Article 356A of the Constitution was used for 90 times by the Congress and opposition governments were sacked. He further went on to say that the country is repeatedly rejecting the Congress, but the Congress and its allies are not learning, but they continue to retort to conspiracies. The Prime Minister also said the more the opposition throws mud, the lotus will bloom further. The Prime Minister also highlighted the BJP government's achievements, such as providing gas connections, providing power to more than 18,000 villages after 2014, ensuring 100% benefits to Yojana beneficiaries.
इतने महत्वपूर्ण सदन में कुछ लोगों का व्यवहार, कुछ लोगों की वाणी न सिर्फ सदन को लेकिन देश को निराश करने वाली रही। इस प्रकार की वृत्ति प्रवृत्ति के माननीय सदस्यों को मैं यही कहूंगा, कीचड़ उसके पास था, कीचड़ उसके पास था, मेरे पास गुलाल। कीचड़ उसके पास था, मेरे पास गुलाल। जो भी जिसके पास था उसने दिया उछाल। और अच्छा ही है, जितना कीचड़ उछालोगे कमल उतना ही ज्यादा खिलेगा। और इसलिए कमल खिलाने में आपका प्रत्यक्ष परोक्ष जो भी योगदान है, इसके लिए मैं उनका भी आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। हमारी प्राथमिकता मेरे देश का नागरिक था, हमारी प्राथमिकता हमारे देश के सामान्य लोग थे, और इसलिए हमने 32 करोड़ से ज्यादा परिवारों के पास गैस कनेक्शन पहुंचाए, नया इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर खड़ा करना पड़ा, धन खर्चना पड़ा। आजादी के अनेक दशकों के बाद भी इस देश में 18,000 से ज्यादा गांव ऐसे थे जहां बिजली नहीं पहुंची थी, और ये गांव अधिकतर हमारे आदिवासी बस्ती के गांव थे, हमारे पहाड़ों पर जिंदगी गुजारने वालों के लोगों के गांव थे, जनजातीय से गांव थे, नॉर्थ ईस्ट के गांव थे। लेकिन ये उनके चुनाव के हिसाब किताब में बैठता नहीं था, इसलिए इनकी प्रायोरिटी नहीं था। हम जानते थे ये कठिन काम इन्होंने छोड़ दिए हैं। हमने कहा हम तो मक्खन पे लकीर करने वाले नहीं, पत्थर पे लकीर करने वाले लोग हैं। हम इस चुनौती को भी उठाएंगे, हम इस चुनौती को भी उठाएंगे। और हमने हर गांव में बिजली पहुंचाने का संकल्प उठाया। समय सीमा में 18,000 गांवों में बिजली पहुंचाई, और उस चुनौतीपूर्ण काम करने के पीछे गांवों में एक नई जिंदगी की अनुभूति हुई, उनका विकास तो हुआ, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात हुई देश की व्यवस्था पर उनका विश्वास बढ़ा। हर योजना के जो लाभार्थी हैं 100% लाभ कैसे पहुंचे, 100% लाभार्थियों को लाभ पहुंचे, बिना रोक टोक के लाभ पहुंचे। और मैं कहता हूं अगर सच्चा पंथ निरपेक्षता है तो यही है, सच्चा सेक्युलरिज्म है तो यही है। और सरकार उस राह पर बड़ी ईमानदारी के साथ चल पड़ी है। अमृतकाल में हमने सैचुरेशन का संकल्प लिया है, 100% लाभार्थियों तक पहुंचने का भाजपा एनडीए सरकार का ये संकल्प है। आदरणीय सभापति जी, ये 100% वाली बात, ये सैचुरेशन वाली बात देश की अनेक समस्याओं का समाधान तो है ही। उस नागरिक की समस्याओं का समाधान इतना ही नहीं है, देश की समस्याओं का समाधान है। एक ऐसी नई कार्य संस्कृति को लेकर के हम आ रहे हैं जो देश में मेरा तेरा अपना पराया उन सारे भेदों को मिटाने वाला रास्ता है, सैचुरेशन वाला हम लेकर के आए। सैचुरेशन तक पहुंचने का मतलब होता है भेदभाव की सारी गुंजाइशें खत्म करना। जब डिस्क्रिमिनेशन रहता है तब करप्शन को भी संभावना मिलती है। देश देख रहा है, देश देख रहा है, एक अकेला कितनों को भारी पड़ रहा है, एक अकेला कितनों को भारी पड़ रहा है। अरे नारे बोलने के लिए भी, नारे बोलने के लिए भी उनको बदल करना पड़ता है। जो भी ये बोलता है घंटे भर से आवाज की जवाब देता है। आदरणीय सभापति जी, एक कन्विक्शन के कारण चला हूं, देश के लिए जीता हूं, देश के लिए कुछ करने के लिए निकला हुआ हूं। और इसलिए ये राजनीतिक खेल खेलने वाले लोग, उनके अंदर वो हौसला नहीं है, वो ढूंढ रहे हैं, बचने का रास्ता खोज रहे हैं। आदरणीय सभापति जी, राष्ट्रपति जी के उम्दा भाषण को, राष्ट्रपति जी के मार्गदर्शक भाषण को, राष्ट्रपति जी के प्रेरक भाषण को इस सदन के अंदर अभिनंदन करते हुए, धन्यवाद करते हुए, आपका भी आभार व्यक्त करते हुए अपनी बात को समाप्त करता हूं। जितना कीचड़ उछालोगे कमल उतना ही ज्यादा खिलेगा। और इसलिए कमल खिलाने में आपका प्रत्यक्ष परोक्ष जो भी योगदान है, इसके लिए मैं उनका भी आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। कांग्रेस को बार बार देश नकार रहा है, लेकिन कांग्रेस और उसके साथी अपनी साजिशों से बाज नहीं आते हैं और जनता ये देख भी रही है और उनको हर मौके पर सजा भी देती रही। हमारे आदिवासी बस्ती के गांव थे, हमारे पहाड़ों पर जिंदगी गुजारने वालों के लोगों के गांव थे, जनजातीय से गांव थे, नॉर्थ ईस्ट के गांव थे, लेकिन ये उनके चुनाव के हिसाब किताब में बैठता नहीं था, इसलिए इनकी प्रायोरिटी नहीं था। हम जानते थे ये कठिन काम इन्होंने छोड़ दिए हैं। हमने कहा हम तो मक्खन पे लकीर करने वाले नहीं, पत्थर पे लकीर करने वाले लोग हैं।
Well, those were some of the snippets of the fiery reply that was given by the Prime Minister at the floor of the House, even as the opposition indulged in sloganeering, wanted a JPC as far as the Adani issue is concerned. Let's shift our focus to some other stories that we're tracking. The CBI has triggered another political brawl in the national capital by requesting to file a case against Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister, Manish Sisodia. And these are over allegations that the AAP government created a feedback unit way back in 2015 under the Vigilance Department to collect political intelligence. Now, CNN News 18 has exclusively accessed the Delhi LG's written note on the same matter. The written note recommends a deep investigation into the matter. The notings by the Delhi LG also highlighted the discrepancies found in the initial probe. Meanwhile, the Delhi BJP has also released posters with the words, "Do Jasoos," hitting out a Delhi Chief Minister, Arvind Kejriwal, and his deputy. The BJP also staged protests right through the day.
दिल्ली की आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार के डिप्टी सीएम मनीष सिसोदिया फीडबैक यूनिट के बहाने राजनीतिक नेताओं की जासूसी करते हुए पकड़े गए। दिल्ली के टैक्स पेयर्स के पैसे से दिल्ली का विकास कार्य करने की बजाय अवैध रूप से जासूसी करवाई जा रही है। जांच एजेंसियों ने इसको पकड़ा है और अब डिप्टी सीएम मनीष सिसोदिया के ऊपर केस दर्ज करने की प्रक्रिया शुरू हो रही है।
देश के अंदर सबसे बढ़िया स्कूल टैक्स पेयर के पैसे से आम आदमी पार्टी ने बनाए हैं। सबसे बढ़िया हॉस्पिटल आम आदमी पार्टी ने बनाए हैं। लोगों को टैक्स पेयर के पैसे से फ्री बिजली, फ्री पानी टैक्स पेयर को भी आम आदमी पार्टी दे रही है। प्रॉफिट के अंदर सरकार चला रही है। अगर इनको लगता है हम जासूसी कर रहे हैं तो एजेंसीज इनके पास हैं। अनर्गल आरोप लगाना से चीजें खराब नहीं होती।
So let's first talk about the big allegations that have been made against the Aam Aadmi Party by the LG, and why does he feel that there were discrepancies as far as the initial probe was concerned. The first allegation is that the agency not within the constitutional scheme of the governance. There is already a vigilance department. Why did you need the feedback unit? The other allegation that has also been made as far as the LG is concerned, that there was an attempt to create snooping agency without an oversight. Here, of course, the Aam Aadmi Party is saying that these are all wild allegations without any proof. The agencies come under the central government. How could we have misused them? The other allegation that has been made by the LG is that the Chief Minister tabled an agenda without circulating a cabinet note. We did see the BJP also protest, demanding the resignation of Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia all through the day. Let's go back to some of the other allegations that have been made by the LG against the Aam Aadmi Party, where he says that employees were hired on non-existent posts without any approval, and that's why he feels that there were massive discrepancies, one as far as the formation of this unit is concerned and what it wanted to achieve. He further also goes on to say that there is evidence of blatant disregard of financial propriety. Here, it's also important to understand what are the claims and the counterclaims that are coming in from the CBI vis-a-vis the Aam Aadmi Party. Let's break down those details as well. As far as the CBI's inquiry, it says that this feedback unit collected political intel. The counter here by the Aam Aadmi Party is allegations of snooping are completely false. Let's talk about the other allegations that have been made and the counter that's coming as well. CBI's inquiry is saying that this feedback unit probed over 700 trap cases. The Aam Aadmi Party here is saying the CBI and the ED should probe Modi and Adani type, something that we've been seeing the opposition demand over the last 1 week. Let's go back to what the CBI's inquiry says. It says 60% of these cases that came under this feedback unit were actually linked to political intel, and that's why charges of snooping should be looked into. The counter coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party is political spying is done by the Prime Minister. They've hit out at what the government does. Let's go back to what the CBI's inquiry is saying, that rupees 1 crore was marked as Secret Service expenditure. Why so? That's a question that we'll take to representatives of the Aam Aadmi Party as well. The counter coming in from the AAP here is cases against us are politically motivated, something that the Aam Aadmi Party has been saying even as far as the alleged liquor gate and other allegations are concerned. The CBI's inquiry also goes on to say that this feedback unit caused rupees 36 lakh as far as the government exchequer is concerned. The counter here by the Aam Aadmi Party is over 160 cases filed against us without any proof. So the Aam Aadmi Party has been feeling that the central government has been misusing the agencies, but there's no real proof to prove the case. Let's also bring in our guest. We have spokesperson of the BJP, Vineet Goenka. We also have political analyst, Professor D.K. Giri. Good to have both of you on the broadcast with us. Professor Giri, I'd like to begin the conversation with you since we don't have a representative of the Aam Aadmi Party. The first question that is being raised is, why was the creation of this unit even needed? You already had a vigilance department. So why was this feedback unit then created?
Well, let's reformulate your question. The complaint against Aam Aadmi Party is that LG thought that they were not competent to create this unit. So that is, there is an administrative lapse. I will take that. But whether it was needed or not, that the elected government could decide. But if they have committed, they have worked beyond their brief, then there is a question that could be probed. You see, the complaint is they were not competent to institute this office, and the second is about the money that was spent in corruption. So these are the material charges really. So it is not about whether they need it. That's a political question, whether they need it or not, the government should decide. Governments had all kinds of agencies. What they were competent to do or not, that is something we need to investigate.
No, so I want to understand what was the intent behind creation this feedback unit. Because if you look at the inquiry as far as the CBI is concerned, this is what they're saying. They're saying that this specific unit collected political intent. They've also given some data. They're saying this particular unit probed over 700 trap cases, and 60% of these cases were linked to political intent. If this is not snooping, then what is?
I absolutely agree with you, but I don't understand this allegation. The first point is, if they were not competent legally to set up this body, that matter ends. That should be treated null and void. What they were doing is second question. First of all, the creation of this body itself is illegal. That is they should stick to. Why are they bringing other things? These are questions of debate and discussion. What is RAW doing? We can ask about other agencies also. So let us not raise this question. This is a political issue. Their complaint is that the government was not within their competence to set it up. That is, they should stick to that. Whether it is political snooping or corruption snooping, these are matters of details. I do not know why.
No, sir, what I'm failing to understand is, one, what is the intent of the creation of this unit and what did it want to achieve? Because again, if you go back to the inquiry and the details that have been put out by the CBI, they're saying, if you look at some data, there was 1 crore that was marked as a Secret Service expenditure. What is it? We don't really know. And this specific unit, in fact, caused massive loss as far as the exchequer is concerned, to the tune of almost 36 lakhs. So who is going to be responsible to the loss? So that's what I'm trying to understand. What was the intent of the creation and what did they want to achieve?
I think they are not the right questions, I must say. The questions is the question of corruption, as you said. Where did they spend the money? Was this money necessary? I mean, how did they spend the money? Were they authorized to spend this money? That is the question. Other things are political question, and that the political party and the government elected by the people has the right to decide. I do not think anybody can question that, why they do it. Whether they can do it is the question that we should ask. You see? So when we examine the content, as CBI is saying, what is political snooping? What is this role? That we can point fingers at any government. I am asking today, what is the RAW doing? Our government intelligence agencies. Are they not doing political snooping?
No, but I also want to understand, for how long can the Aam Aadmi Party have a very convenient rebuttal that this is political vendetta, agencies are being used against us. That's also because you have cases that are coming to light against the Aam Aadmi Party. There is an alleged... One second, sir. There is an alleged liquor gate. There are other allegations of corruption. For how long can this shield be acceptable by the Aam Aadmi Party that this is a witch hunt?
Sure. Let me give you one line answer. I am speaking here now for BJP, not Aam Aadmi Party. I am asking them, ask the right questions. Don't beat about the bush. You are not able to ask the right questions to even Aam Aadmi Party. That is why you are floundering. All your allegations are coming to naught. And even CBI, all the 134 cases against staff, you have reached nowhere because you are not asking the right questions. That is my point. So BJP is misfiring. You know, the questions they should ask. They don't ask the political authority or legitimacy of Aam Aadmi Party. They have been elected thrice by the people. They are political legitimacy. But the question they should
the
ask
BJP is asking questions. They protested all through the day. They're wanting a central probe as well. They're also saying till the time the probe is over, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister should step down because that should be the moral responsibility. Will the Aam Aadmi Party take some action is also the larger question.
The moral responsibility is absolutely subject matter. It is here nor there. If we talk of moral responsibility, the whole parliament is rocked over one businessman. What is the moral responsibility of the government?
Let's stick to what we're debating. What is happening in the parliament? We'll ask the BJP spokesperson to respond to that as well. But let's talk about the specific allegations that have been made. And that's what I'm failing to understand. What was the intent and what did they want to achieve? Unfortunately, we're not getting very clear answers about that. I'll have 30 seconds. I'll give you the final word.
Sure. Please, I was responding to Ridhima. Your concept of morality in politics. No politician today is conscious of political or social morality. You know that across the political party. So let us not talk about it. You and me can split our hairs on that, but I don't think any politician is owning up the moral responsibility in current situation.
Okay, so we'll still await an official Aam Aadmi Party reaction to try and see how they want to rebut the specific allegations that have been made in the notings of the LG and the inquiry of the CBI as well. We failed to establish that connection with the BJP spokesperson, but I'd like to thank Professor Giri for his time. We'll keep tracking all these developments. For now, we're slipping into a very short break.